The bustling city of Huntington, West Virginia, borders Kentucky and Ohio. It dates back to 1775, when the first permanent settlement of Holderby's Landing was founded. In late 2007, Huntington will become the site of a baffling murder mystery that remains unsolved today. "2022 marked another year without answers for the family of Leah Hickman. The 21-year-old was a student at Marshall University, where she was pursuing a career in journalism. Although she dreamed of being a news reporter on television, her journey would be cut short when she was found murdered in her Huntington apartment. Leah Hickman was last seen by her half-sister, Jessica Vickers, on December the 14th, 2007, at the apartment they shared on 8th Avenue. Lee's evening was unordinary. She signed into her MySpace page and called a friend who she told she was going to McDonald's. A receipt from the restaurant was found in her apartment, proving that she had returned that evening. When Jessica Vickers returned the following day, she noticed Lee's vehicle outside. Although she found Lee's purse and keys inside the apartment, her half-sister was nowhere to be found. Jessica called Lee repeatedly, only for the call to go to voicemail. She also posted on her sister's social media page asking, "Oh sister, where are you?" She would not get a response. When Lee didn't show up to her scheduled shift at the nearby dress barn, her family began to worry. Her father, Ron, was made aware of the absence and immediately made plans to travel from his home in Point Pleasant to Huntington to look for his daughter. Ron made the hour trip with his preacher and sister. When the family had no luck on their own, they decided to file a missing persons report with the Huntington Police Department on Monday, December the 16th. Authorities searched the area extensively for a week, only to come to a dead end. Even though Lee only worked there for 5 months, Dress Barn offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to her safe return. A week after she disappeared, on December the 21st, Lee's body would be discovered in a crawlspace under her apartment building. The crawlspace was linked to the apartment's common laundry room and was accessible using several routes. The 4 units in the apartment building had access to the crawlspace. At the time, 2 units were unoccupied. The other was rented to a man who was later confirmed to be out of town at the time. It is likely that the crawlspace was accessed to the apartment shared by Lee and her half-sister Jessica. Police quickly confirmed that Lee had been strangled to death. With no viable suspects, family and friends handed out flyers in hopes of getting someone with the information to come forward. On the weekend before Christmas, Dress Barn temporarily closed and put up a sign saying they were doing so out of respect for Lee. It would also cover the cost of her funeral. Despite these efforts, the case has gone cold, although it has not been closed by the Huntington Police Department. 7 years later, in 2014, the case would again receive media attention when graffiti was found on Lee's apartment. It asked, "Who killed Leah Hickman?" Whoever left the graffiti was never identified, and the question has never been answered. Only minimal trace evidence was procured from the crime scene for DNA testing, but attempt to test it was futile. Ron Hickman, who is the Mason County assessor and Lee's father, spoke to the investigative team about sending the evidence to Parabon Nanolabs since it had success in other cases. However, The department was worried that retesting the evidence would lead nowhere, and what little evidence they had would be lost. Although the case has slowed, there is still a chance to bring the culprit to justice and give closure to the loved ones of Leah Hickman. Anyone with information about the murder is encouraged to contact Huntington Police Department's investigative unit at 304-696-4420.